I need to check what even happened because I want to make sure I talk about everything from this week, right? So let me go back to So I have mixed feelings this week because it is my second to last day in London. It's so weird. It feels like it flew by, but also like we got to do so many amazing things, and there's definitely a lot of back and forth. But yeah, so on Monday we got to finally have afternoon tea over at the Dalloway Terrace, just kind of in like central London. It was really cool and it was nice to be able to do something like that again. And then afterward we went and made sure that we took some authentic telephone booth pictures in Covent Garden because did you really live in London? Did you really come to London if you didn't take a telephone booth picture? So the next day we were both doing a lot of work, but then we decided that we wanted to go to Angel one more time. So we met up and we walked through Highbury Fields one last time, and then we went to this Mexican restaurant for Taco Tuesday, and it was really nice. It was good to be over there again and kind of have these final experiences and moments. So on Wednesday we went over to Buckingham Palace, and then we went through Leadenhall Market, and we went over to St. Dunstan's in the East again. This time I got to be the one to show Rachel those things instead of having somebody show me them, like a few weeks ago with the friends of a friend that I was hanging out with. But after that we had drinks at the Sky Garden, and that was so cool. We were like right across from the Shard, and we were there at a perfect time to end up seeing the most beautiful sunset. It was a really good day for it, so there was an actual sunset out across the city. Just such a beautiful place, full of greenery and really pretty areas, and it was amazing to view it. We did realize though that it was only 35 floors up, which compared to so many buildings that we're familiar with in big cities, that would feel like nothing. But it was one of the tallest buildings in the city, which is just kind of mind-blowing. It's crazy to think about that difference. On Thursday we went over to Harrods before walking around the West End and Piccadilly Circus a bit. We went to see Six over at the Lyric Theatre in the West End, and it was so good. It was about Henry VIII and his 6 wives, but it didn't feature him at all. It was literally just about the wives and their stories, and it was this fun, musical, almost concert sort of feeling. And it wasn't what I expected because I didn't look it up. I kind of like to just go like see what's up instead of having like preconceptions about things, and it did not disappoint. It was so much fun, and it was still really spaced out and everything. So one, with COVID it felt good, but also being staggered like it was, there was nobody in front of me, And so I had like this perfect view. I was right in the middle, like straight down from the balcony to the stage, and it was like perfect. And then we went over to Trafalgar Square after, and we had dinner in Chinatown one last time to like walk through Soho, and oh, it was such a good day. The weather was beautiful. It was so nice. We had just the best time. It was really cool to get to again go back to a lot of those places that I associate with London more than anything, and it just, oh god, it was so nice. And then it was actually perfect timing because the next day we met up with Jeremy, and Rachel, Gabby, and I went with him to Hampton Court Palace where Henry VIII and his 6 wives lived. And so we toured the palace and the grounds, and the gardens were so cool. It was beautiful. It kind of reminded me of Versailles, which might be kind of like narrow-sided, but that's just one of the ones I've been to that it makes me think of. After that we had our farewell dinner, which it was so good. It was nice. We were just at this cute little pub and had a bunch of authentic British food one last time, and we were just all talking, and we were able to give Jeremy the gift that we had all chipped in on for him. We had just got him this box of chocolates in like a book kind of packaging, because we're like education, study abroad, it's perfect. But anyway, we definitely did want to make sure we thanked him for being so available and so fantastic during such a weird semester and situation. But yeah, so we had an amazing dinner. It was really weird because it was supposed to be our farewell dinner, but then on Saturday we ended up going to Seven Sisters to hike. So that was the farewell day, really. So we started the Seven Sisters hike at the Seaford Head, and we went over the 7 like up and downs of the cliffs that are the Seven Sisters. But then that was only about the halfway point once we finished that, and then we like continued to hike. It was about, I want to say 13-14 miles altogether. We were able to avoid going an extra hour or so because we walked through the river. It was the kind of place where sometimes it'll just be like dry or low enough that you can just walk through with your boots, but for us it was at a height where we did take our shoes and socks off, but it was manageable and not a big deal, and it was kind of cool to walk through there and also just save an hour and like a mile, and that was really cool. But it was a fun little bonding experience for everybody out there hiking that day, because we're all like wading through the water like but yeah, we about halfway were able to refill our water and use the toilet really fast if we needed, and we kept hiking. And I mean, it was a relatively long hike. It took like 6 hours and it was like over 10 miles, right? But it wasn't one of the ones where I'll be in the middle of it and I'll be like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. So that was good. It was fun, and it was so beautiful. It was so cool to be able to see that. I've been to the Cliffs of Moher, but the day that we were there, it was so rainy and just kind of gross and dreary, and just like you couldn't really even hardly see the cliffs. And so this being such a perfect day and seeing the bright white cliffs, it was just beautiful. I'm not sure if we can tell here, but I did get a little bit sunburned. I put on sunscreen multiple times, but my pale skin that has not seen the sun in months because of the English weather and the fact that I'm always wearing a rain jacket or a turtleneck because it's cold, like, yeah, hopefully that helps me and I don't get burnt the moment I get home. So that was really bittersweet at the end because we had such a good day and we were all really tired, but we were trying to still kind of like hang out and spend time together, because then at this station we said goodbye to Jeremy and it was so sad. He's the best. I've had the best resident directors throughout all of my study abroad. So shout out to Kevin, shout out to Jorge, and shout out to Jeremy, because all of them have been the best resources like ever, and I just feel immensely grateful. Oh my gosh, I'm getting like choked up. Anyway, I feel immensely grateful for all of the opportunities that I've had just to do these things and to be around such amazing people and such great influences and people that truly care about what we're all doing here, and it's just so cool. Yeah. And then we rounded out yesterday on Sunday with a last sort of market experience. We tried to go to the Brixton Farmers Market, but there were maybe 6 tents. But the actual Brixton Market itself was partially open, so we did get to go into a lot of shops and like grabbed a coffee at one of the restaurants before we had a Sunday roast. Finally, it was very exciting and something that I would have been pretty frustrated with myself that I hadn't done, even though things relatively recently opened up. We've definitely had a while to be able to do that, so I'm glad that we finally did. I had missed the USAC trip to Brixton because I was working on my documentary project for class at that point. So it was nice to get to go over there to Brixton and then down to Clapham. And Clapham Common was full of people. It was so cool to see. It literally looked like it was like a festival or something. But I mean, like nobody was on top of each other because it was such a big area. Like that park was huge. But the weather was just beautiful, and we're finally getting to where it feels like summer, so it's not going to be as weird of a transition to go home now, even though home is still like about 20 degrees warmer a lot of the time. I'm gonna finish this, oh my god. I'm gonna finish this really quickly, but we had an amazing day yesterday. I am excited for the next few days of things. I kind of started packing already, but I'm gonna obviously have to continue that and get ready to leave. I'm donating a lot of things, but I've got to kind of figure that out and get those where they need to go. But it's been an amazing experience to be able to do this right now during the pandemic as it ends. It's going to be so weird to go home and see those differences. I'm going to film one more video next Monday about the last few days and leaving and coming back, because it's going to be just astronomically different in terms of the COVID atmosphere there. I've been talking to friends and family, and it's gonna be so weird. Talk about reverse culture shock. I'm already preparing like in overdrive for that this time. But all in all, I'm grateful. Like I said at the beginning of all of this, I think that 17-year-old Anna, had she known that this would be a reality, she would have been very excited. And it's amazing to have fulfilled such a goal of mine and to end college this way. And I don't know, I'm just so grateful for everything. I'm so happy, and yeah, it's amazing. I'm gonna miss it here.